here they are as the 5 seed. And we are underway as the first round continues in Blacksburg. Wall-to-wall basketball across ESPN's family of networks, and Vandy starts with the ball. They go inside. The freshman, Camille Pierre, out of Arizona, all SEC freshman team. She has been terrific in this tournament. Was excellent in the first 4, picks up where she left off. You take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by Capital One. It's a balanced Baylor team. Andrews does lead the way, but they've got so many weapons. Everything but the finish there. Fauntleroy got the steal, but couldn't cash in.
At least very early in this game, Vandy looks like the team that has already played this week and played in this gym. Baylor uncharacteristically missing a layup in transition.
But their defense is dialed in. They've already had 2 caused turnovers in the opening minute. Great feed by Andrews. Count it! Plus the foul going inside the Little Page Bugs.
What a pass by Sarah Andrews. Little Page Bugs, the Big 12 freshman of the year last year, has continued to build on that this year in a strong finish. Baylor, they have 2 smaller guards in Andrews and Walker, but their size at the 3, 4, and 5 spot is really good.
Dariana Little Page Bugs cashes in the and one. Sophomore out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And this Baylor defense has come to play. In the opening minute 15, they forced 3 Vanderbilt turnovers. Usually it's Vanderbilt causing problems for their opponents. Instead, they're the ones coughing it up early.
I was just thinking that. The defensive intensity from Baylor is very high to start this game.
Vanderbilt forced 13 Columbia turnovers in their win in the first 4 on Wednesday. Jordan Cambridge, the program's all-time leader in steals, 3-time All-SEC defensive team, leads that way. But both of these teams put a priority on defense. Points are going to be at a premium. Pull up, pop. Andrews delivers. Sarah Andrews, the senior, leading the way.
What a shot. And finishing over 6'2", Sasha Washington.
Ayanna Moore trying to answer, and she draws the foul.
Take a look at this shot from Sarah Andrews, how she's able to elevate and get that ball off just in time, even with a hand in her face. Sarah Andrews has come out aggressive for this Baylor squad.
Andrews recruited by Kim Mulkey. She is the only player or staff member who has been at Baylor for 4 years. It's funny, head coach Nikki Collins said, Sarah kind of inherited all of us. It's not like we as a new staff inherited her. This is her program. She's already announced she'll use her 5th year and come back. They still determined to make a deep run in this tournament. Double team comes in. Jada Walker dribbles out of it. Finds Andrews. Deep 3. Off the mark, no good. Kept in play. Walker right down for 2. Jada Walker, the Virginia native, cashes in.
And what a save by Asia Blackwell. Was able to save that ball and find her teammate. So she wasn't just saving it to pass it to nobody. She found her teammate, and then Jada Walker was able to score because of Blackwell's hustle.
Inside to Sasha Washington. She had 16 points, 15 rebounds in the win on Wednesday in the first 4 against Columbia. If Vandy is going to win, you have to think number 35 in black has something to say about it.
For sure, because Baylor's strength is in their front court. They have great size inside, and Sasha Washington was so good in the win over Columbia, had that double-double, was dominant. So she's going to have to play well tonight, and they're going to have to go to her early.
Camille Pierre, that rolls off the rim, no good. Walker weaves her way through. Jada Walker so crafty.
My goodness, how did Jada Walker get that ball to go? And I know she's excited to be here. She's back home in Virginia, a native of Richmond.
Yeah, went to high school 3 hours and 15 minutes here at Henrico High School.
Look at this finish. Wow. What a crafty finish. Great footwork. And finishing over Camille Pierre, who, let's just say, has quite a few inches on Jada Walker.
Well, it might be Vanderbilt's first trip to the NCAA tournament in 10 years, but Shea Ralph lives in this tournament. It is her 20th NCAA tournament appearance. She's won 7 of them, 1 as a player, 6 as an assistant at UConn. Andrews head of steam, no good. Almost kept alive by Little Paige Buggs, but it'll be Vanderbilt ball. And there's Nikki Collin on the opposite sideline. Really enjoyed our conversation with Collin and coming over from the WNBA back to the college game. And this is the best time of the year for college basketball. She is fired up to have Baylor back in the NCAA tournament.
2 high-level coaches. I thought when both these coaches were hired, both of these were excellent hires, both in their 3rd season at their respective schools.
Passat, corner 3, left it short, and a foul called on Washington. You know, it's tough for Collin when you take over a perennial power, right? It's the expectation that you're going to get here. They've been here 20 straight years. It's winning games in the tournament, getting to the second weekend that is the standard at Baylor.
Exactly. Even getting to the Final Four has been really the standard at Baylor when Kim Mulkey was the head coach, as Baylor continues to light it up with Fauntleroy. But this team, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, they have a resume that's borderline top 4 seed. They were in the discussion. This is a very good 5 seed, and they have beaten some great teams, have a big win over Texas, 6 top 25 wins. They are battle-tested.
Yeah, their defense is all over Vanderbilt in this opening quarter. Only Tennessee, Stanford, UConn better than Baylor when it comes to making the tournament in consecutive seasons. Four turnovers already for Vanderbilt. And Baylor finding a rhythm. Jada Walker, she's got 6 points early to lead the Bears. Timeout Vanderbilt. It is all Baylor early. The Bears have opened up a 10-point lead midway through the first.
But as we mentioned earlier, only Sarah Andrews has been here for 4 years, but she still sets the tone for this Baylor team and those championship expectations.
Vanderbilt has turned it over 4 times already. Almost a 5th turnover, and it is Andrews. Got it to Little Paige Buggs. Here's Walker. Couldn't finish that one after she's had a couple of tough finishes in this first quarter. Andrews step back, missed it.
Vandy has 5 turnovers, and they've only taken 3 shots. Baylor's taken 12 shots. That's not a recipe for success.
And that's a travel underneath on Washington. Do you sense, I know it's early, but almost a little fatigue from Vanderbilt after that first 4 games?
I do, Jay, and we'll talk more about that when we come back. Vanderbilt players and what it means to them, because this is their first NCAA tournament. I thought that was a great perspective from their head coach.
Great pass by Andrews. The finish, Asia Blackwell. Those are the 2 senior leaders on this Baylor team, and they have shown up in this first round. And that's another travel. Washington, who was so good on Wednesday against Columbia.
Vandy just looks frazzled. Baylor is getting whatever they want. They're dominating the pace of this game. Vandy has not been able to get out in transition at all. And then Baylor is playing great defense in the half court.
All 5 Bears starters have scored already. And they have opened up a 16-4 lead on an 11-0 run. Looking for more. Andrews Misfires that time.
If I'm Vandy, I'm trying to get Ayanna Moore going in any way that I can. She's a player that led you to your first round win. And a nice take from Moore to the right side.
Yeah, does it herself there to stop the scoring drought. Little Paige Bugs on the drive. Finds Andrews. That's a kick ball by Jordan Oliver. Andrews checks out of this game. While Andrews gets the headlines, this is an extremely balanced Baylor team, and that can make for a tough scout.
It can, and it really helps you in March. It helps you in the NCAA tournament because you're going to need other players to step up once you start playing multiple games throughout a weekend. And Baylor has so many weapons. They just brought in Yaya Felder, who's a transfer from Ohio, who averaged 22 points per game for Ohio last year. So they have tons of players that can really fill it up.
Pierre, nothing but net, and Vandy needed it.
It's been all Pierre and Moore so far for Vandy. They've scored all of the Commodores' points.
Good look, Fauntleroy, and she cashes in from deep.
With all that Baylor does defensively and with their depth, they also love to shoot the three. School record, adding on to a school record now, 237 made threes by the Bears this year.
They're good at shooting the three, and they're good at defending the three. Their three-point defense, one of the best in the nation. Vanderbilt's only attempted 1 3 so far. Walker. That blocked out of bounds.
The other key, too, is that Vanderbilt does not have an offensive rebound yet. Baylor has taken 10 more shots than Vandy so far in this game. Vandy has no second chance points. It's one and done, and even when Vandy does get a shot, it's not really a good shot right now.
Through contact. Great take, Dre Edwards.
And that speaks to Baylor's depth. There are very few teams that can bring a Dreonna Edwards off the bench. With how good she is at 12 points per game, 6 boards, to bring her in, you just don't get a break if you're Vandy trying to deal with Baylor's posts.
Moore dispossessed, and a foul called against Moore. It'll be Baylor ball, and another Vanderbilt turnover in this first quarter.
And give all the credit to Baylor's defense, but it does look like Vanderbilt's a bit fatigued, having played on Wednesday against Columbia. That was a late game, 9 o'clock game, and then a turnaround here, 1 day to prepare. Baylor looks fresh.
Right back to Edwards. Everything but the finish. Good hustle by Cambridge to dig out the rebound. Moore lines up the 3, missed it. Long rebound. Oliver can't quite chase it down. Kelly, we saw in the first round matchup before this one, Marshall Vanderbilt, or Marshall Virginia Tech, the Hokies, they got out in front early, and that's kind of all she wrote. How important is it for Vanderbilt just to stay within touching distance of Baylor?
They have to, because Baylor's a team that shoots the 3 ball well, and that's right on cue by Dre Edwards. And Baylor has so much depth, so they can just wear you down. They can keep subbing. They're going to bring in different players throughout their lineup. And Vandy not only has the depth disadvantage, but also the fatigue disadvantage. They've got to hang around or this could get out of hand.
Washington, much needed bucket inside.
Sasha Washington was Vanderbilt's one of their most reliable players in that Columbia game. And if you continue to go to her, you can at least attempt to get some of these bigs for Baylor in foul trouble.
Ayanna Moore. Jump ball. Jada Walker. She has been the catalyst of this incredible first quarter for Baylor.
Jada Walker has played with some fire in this first quarter. I know she's got a lot of family here, a Virginia native, transfer from Kentucky, and the coaches told us when they saw their name pop up on the NCAA tournament selection show, they were excited for Jada, and she was super excited knowing she was coming back home to Virginia to play.
The pride of Henrico High School getting it done on both ends of the floor. And Baylor has built a 14-point lead in this first quarter. The Bears are looking for more. Their foot firmly planted on the gas. Inside, rolls off the rim, no good. It'll stay Baylor ball, 4.1 to work with.
That was a heck of a pass by Jana Van Geitenbeek to find her teammate. She directed traffic, pointed exactly where she wanted her to go.
Van Geitenbeek, the inbounder, throws it away. Opportunity for Cambridge up ahead. Oliver gets it off in time, and Vanderbilt ends the first quarter with a bucket. After Baylor dominated the first 10 minutes.
She's a gamer. Caitlin Clark lives for March. She lives for this moment. And she even took her game to another level last March, which is hard to believe because she's been the best player in college basketball for quite a few years now. So I'm so excited to see what she can do with this team. But on that promo, you had Beckers, Hannah Hidalgo, Caitlin Clark, Juju Watkins, so many superstars in this game right now, and the star power of women's hoops has never been better. Clark obviously is the big star, but there's so many other big names as well.
Kicked out, Passat. No good. Another offensive rebound by Oliver. This is the fourth chance Vandy has, and finally, Justine Passat converts.
That's what Vandy has to do, is grab offensive rebounds. They aren't shooting the ball as well as they would like. Maybe don't have the legs that they need at this point because of the previous game. But if they can rebound and get second chance points, they can get back in it.
Stolen away. Yaya Felder, the steal and the score.
Felder, we know, can fill it up. Averaging about 8 points per game this year, but came from Ohio where she was scoring over 20 points per game. Comes off the bench and, again, just speaks to Baylor's depth and the amount of weapons they have on this team.
Here's a stat you don't like if you're Vanderbilt and you love if you're Baylor. The Commodores average 14.5 turnovers per game this season. They already have 10, and we just started the second quarter.
10 turnovers in one quarter. I think it was 9 at the end of the first. You're probably not going to win that quarter if you have 9 in one quarter of play.
Shea Ralph's team took a big first punch by Baylor. We talked about how important it is to just weather the storm, stay within touching distance, because you see what happens. A tidal wave comes over you, the moment maybe gets magnified, and we saw that in our first matchup between Virginia Tech and Marshall. I think the crowd here in Castle Coliseum did play a part, so now that you get more of a neutral crowd here between these two teams, certainly will help Vanderbilt stay in it. What a great story Ayanna Moore is in her junior year from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Last year, both Moore and Cambridge missed the year out injured. They rehabbed together. They dreamed of moments like this, and here they are in the NCAA tournament.
I just can't imagine how they both felt last year. Vandy's two best guards, both having season-ending injuries before last season. But they did have each other, and they were able to rehab together, and Coach Ralph told us that was huge for those two players, and now they're both back and have both had incredible years for Vanderbilt. And then Coach Ralph also told us, Jay, that she herself has torn her ACL 5 times. I can't even imagine that, but her experience, she was able to guide Cambridge and more through those season-ending injuries. And Shea Ralph even told us, look, I didn't even become an All-American until I tore my ACL once. So it seems for her, needed that one ACL tear, then on to the All-American status.
Here's Sarah Andrews, step back three, and she's fouled. Sarah Andrews will go to the free throw line to shoot three.
Washington looked at Ralph, and she knew she had made a mistake. That's not what you need right now if you're Vanderbilt. Trying to claw yourself back into this game. Andrews had missed the shot, get the rebound, let's go. But now Andrews gets three free throws. And it's the right call because you have to let Andrews land, and Washington did not let her do that.
And that's the second foul on Washington. So she comes out of the game for Vanderbilt. For the fourth straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. We are so proud to bring it to you. First and second rounds through Monday. And for more information, go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 championships.
I love how calm Sarah Andrews is. You can just tell how calm she is, what a good leader she is for this team. She's a senior, as we mentioned. She's going to come back for her 5th year. And that calmness can just radiate to the rest of the team.
Now, Nikki Collins, Baylor head coach, told us that Andrews understands the why we do things. Sometimes you explain a concept in practice, you get a lot of deer and headlight looks back at you. Andrews always knows why their coaching staff is implementing something.
Very high basketball IQ for number 24 in white.
Vanderbilt, ball security has been an issue in this first half. They've turned it over 10 times already. Their season average is 14 and a half. And they're shooting the ball pretty well, 6 of 13. When they can actually attempt a shot, and they don't turn it over.
Right, but they've taken so many less shots than Baylor because of those turnovers.
11 less shots attempted in this first half. More off the mark from 3.
And with Sasha Washington on the bench with those 2 fouls, rebounding is going to be tough for Vanderbilt for the rest of this quarter.
Fauntleroy buries it.
Fauntleroy having herself a game so far. Already 3 threes for the sophomore out of Missouri. Those threes are a difference maker right now, Jay. 4 for 7 for Baylor, 0 for 6 for Vandy.
Passat launches a deep 3. She misses. Cambridge the offensive rebound. Pierre goes inside. Wave off the basket. Offensive foul. Asia Blackwell took the charge.
I love the energy that Asia Blackwell brings. She's a great defender, great rebounder. Gets in position, and then little head nod. Yep. Good call, ref. That's what Asia Blackwell's saying. Good call, ref.
Tried to squeeze it through the back door, intercepted. But Walker doesn't give up on the play and wins it back for Baylor, who gives it right back to Vanderbilt. Chaotic sequence, ends up in a foul. Camille Pierre will go to the line to shoot 2.
Great job by Jordan Oliver. That pass thrown ahead. Tough catch for Oliver. She's falling out of bounds and still able to find Pierre and make something positive out of that play.
To the line of Camille Pierre, shooting 2.
Pierre front rims it.
This is where you gotta get back in it, the free throw line. If you're able to get to the line, score while the clock is stopped, and 2 misses right there is tough for the Commodores.
Walker, that doesn't drop, falls off the rim, no good. Jordan Cambridge been quiet in this first half. The 6th-year senior loses the handle. Still scoreless, and they rely on Cambridge to be a leader of this team. Foul called on Andrews. That is Baylor's fourth, so one more and Vanderbilt will be shooting for the remainder of the quarter.
And Jay, one thing that Baylor does really well is they guard the three. They are 8th nationally in three-point percentage defense. They hold their opponents to 26% from beyond the arc. Ball pressure, size inside. They get after it in passing lanes, and it's really showing up today. Vanderbilt 0 for 7 from beyond the arc.
When they've gone inside, though, they're 6 of 8 from twos. You'd expect them to continue what's been working for them, and instead they've fallen for a lot of threes. And now the Commodores in another scoring drought of nearly 3 minutes here. Cambridge steps to the line to shoot two. The officials were just sorting it out. Nashville native, 6th-year senior. And we mentioned she missed last year with an injury along with Ayanna Moore. She's overcome a lot of injuries in her career. 2 torn ACLs and the torn Achilles a year ago.
I cannot imagine having to come back from 2 ACLs and an Achilles. The fortitude and perseverance from Jordan Cambridge is unbelievable.
Blackwell couldn't clean up the spill. Vanderbilt stringing together a couple of stops. Now can they convert on the offensive end? Cross-court pass, finds Moore. Lines up a 3 and drills it. Ayanna Moore, the first made 3 today for Vanderbilt.
Strong move from Ayanna Moore, using the ball fake. And a lot of players, when they ball fake beyond the arc, they'll take a dribble inside the arc. Ayanna Moore with a great ball fake and a sidestep to stay behind the arc and get all 3 points.
Stolen away again. Vanderbilt finding some momentum here in the second quarter. Back to Cambridge, who lays it up and in. Timeout Baylor. Vandy on a 7-0 run. Looking forward to getting caught up at halftime in the studio. Wall-to-wall basketball as the first round continues here in Blacksburg.
It's really nice to hear a former Lady Vol, Andrea Carter, say something nice about the Vanderbilt Commodores. You love to see that from Drea.
Actually, the SEC in March, they come together.
That's what we've heard. Yes, tell us more about that, Jay.
Well, it was interesting. Talking with Vanderbilt head coach Shea Ralph said that the SEC head coaches are all in a group text and are supporting each other, rooting for each other. So after competing all season long through conference play, this is the time of year where you root for your SEC opponents, I guess until you were to match up against one each other, then maybe someone gets blocked on the text.
Maybe there's a side group text made without the 2 coaches that are competing against each other. Let them not talk for a few days.
Vanderbilt on a 7-0 run. It's been mostly Baylor this first half, but the Commodores finding a rhythm. And Ayanna Moore back to the free throw line. That's been a key for the Commodores during this stretch, is getting foul calls and getting themselves to the line.
Slowly chipping away at this lead. Ayanna Moore really got them going with that 3-pointer in this second quarter. And then it gave Vanderbilt some life. As Rebecca said in the studio, they're starting to turn Baylor over a little bit, and I think part of that is because Sarah Andrews is on the bench. Andrews with 2 fouls. She does everything for this Baylor team. Keeps them composed, handles the ball. And so Vanderbilt has to take advantage right now for the rest of this quarter when Baylor's senior leader's on the bench.
Just like that, it's a 5-point game here in Blacksburg. Baylor led by as many as 16. Stolen away, Camille Pierre, the steal and the score, and it's an 11-0 Commodores run.
What a play by Camille Pierre, just a freshman, has great length, forcing Baylor to make some bad decisions.
One possession game after the Doors trailed by as many as 16. Littlepage Bugs finally ends the 11-0 run. Boy, did Baylor need that bucket.
Good composure on that play by Van Geitenbeek and finding Littlepage Bugs, being able to bring the shot clock down to the very end and then making a good pass.
Shot clock down to 8. Dumped inside. Tough take for 2. Jordan Oliver.
And remember, Vanderbilt's doing all of this with Sasha Washington on the bench. So Baylor doesn't have Andrews, but Vanderbilt also doesn't have their starting center.
Offensive rebound. Littlepage Bugs keeps it alive.
What a board by Littlepage Bugs.
Van Geitenbeek off to Littlepage Bugs. Give and go. Good for 3. Jana Van Geitenbeek buries it.
Massive shot for Baylor. Much needed from beyond the arc.
Moore, step back. Really good defense.
Kind of a forced shot there by Ayanna Moore. Vanderbilt could have gotten something better on that possession. And then the foul, back-to-back tough plays. We kind of forget that Ayanna Moore, even though she's listed as a junior, she didn't play last year because of that injury that we referenced earlier. So she is a sophomore in terms of eligibility, and those were 2 young plays, if you will.
Well, you airball the shot and then a frustration foul on the other end, and she comes out with 2 fouls.
So now Moore and Washington, your 2 leading scorers in the win over Columbia, both on the bench in foul trouble.
A critical 2 minutes at the end of this first half. Baylor leading by 6. Foul called.
Vanderbilt foul number 3. Jordan Cambridge for the first personal foul. 4th team foul.
And this is just Jordan Cambridge battling with Littlepage Bugs. I'm not sure. There was contact both ways. That's one I'd like to see them just let go, let him play there.
And that's a travel, gives the ball back to Vandy.
Travel violation, Vanderbilt basketball.
Baylor took such great care of the ball in the first quarter, but 8 turnovers for the Bears in the second quarter. And that's been a big reason why Vandy's been able to get back in this game.
We told you these were 2 defensive-minded teams. Well, 24 turnovers in this first half. Pierre. She's been at the foul line a lot in this first half. Just hasn't been able to convert. So Vandy as a team,
Baylor foul number 5.
12 foul shots taken in this first half. They've made 8 of them.
To the line of 12, Camille Pierre, shooting 2.
All the action of the men's NCAA tournament continues tonight on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. For more information, go to ncaa.com. Pierre finally makes a free throw. And it's a 5-point lead for Baylor.
The free throw line's been a big difference for Vandy. They have 14 attempts to Baylor's 4. It's made up for how much better Baylor is shooting the 3 ball than the Doors.
Fauntleroy misses that one. She's connected on 3 earlier this half. Passat, step back triple. No good, falls off the rim. And a foul off the ball. And Now both teams in the bonus for the final minute and change of the second quarter.
Second for Vanderbilt, 24 Second for Baylor, number 1, Janae Fritz. 44, Edwards.
What a first half for Fauntleroy. Leads Baylor with 9 points, now 10. Shot the 3 ball really well. She's been an X factor for them.
Baylor, no doubt, has been in control for most of this first half. Their lead was as large as 16, though. Now it is just 7. Sarah Andrews has spent a lot of this second quarter on the bench.
I hate it when foul trouble keeps us from seeing stars. We haven't been able to see Sasha Washington as much. Sarah Andrews, Georgia Amor in the first game here at Virginia Tech. I know it's how the game goes, but it's really tough as a fan.
Incredible what the Hokies did in this building earlier today, scoring 92 points in their win against Marshall, and Georgia Amor only had 9.
I did not think that was possible. I didn't think Virginia Tech could score that many points without Liz Kitley, obviously, and then with Amor in foul trouble. But I do know, and there's Georgia Amor. Why does she look tired? She didn't even play that much. She was in foul trouble, Jay. What's up with that, Georgia? But whoever advances out of this game between Vandy and Baylor, they will, of course, play Virginia Tech. The guard matchup, whether it's Georgia Amor versus Jordan Cambridge or Georgia Amor versus Sarah Andrews, that is going to be must-watch TV on Sunday.
Ryan Allen knocks them both down for Vanderbilt. Under a minute remaining in this first half, 5-point game. And the fouls just continue to pile up here in the second quarter. And both of these teams very physical, defensive-minded, so I guess we're not too surprised to see the fouls being called in this first half.
Well, it has been a physical game, and I think the refs, even though they've called a lot of fouls, they have been consistent throughout this first half. And now that is 4 Commodores, each with 2 fouls. Pierre, Pissott, Moore, and Washington. And then you have 4 Bears, each with 2 fouls as well. And, of course, the big one is Sarah Andrews and Jada Walker has 2. That's why you're seeing a lot of Van Geitenbeek here in the second quarter.
Oliver floats it to Ryan Allen. And now Camille Pierre dispossessed. Another caused turnover by Baylor. This defense has been outstanding in the first half.
And it's that ball pressure, that aggressiveness that's also been the reason why Baylor's been so effective guarding the 3 for Vanderbilt. It just shows why Baylor's one of the best 3-point defensive teams in the country.
Shot clock at 8. Into Little Page Bugs as the shot clock expires.
That's just great execution in the half court by Baylor.
Cambridge all the way to the rim, lays it up and in for 2. Vanderbilt continues to battle, but it's Baylor with a 7-point lead. This is setting up for a fun second half here in Blacksburg. Let's get you into the studio. The opening for Vanderbilt to get within striking distance. The Commodores start on defense down, but certainly not out. Andrews a deep 3 back into the game after sitting much of the second quarter. Offensive rebound, Asia Blackwell cashes in for 2.
And we missed Sarah Andrews in the second quarter, but Baylor also missed Jada Walker, and so that was a big rebound by Jada Walker and a good pass. They need her back on the floor as well.
Camille Pierre been a big bright spot for Vanderbilt. Picks up where she left off.
It's hard to believe Camille Pierre is just a freshman. She is so skilled, so poised inside.
9 points now for the Commodores freshman. Walker pull up pop. Off the mark, no good. Andrews all over Moore, contested three, goes begging. Fauntleroy all the way to the rim for two. Bella Fauntleroy leading the way for Baylor.
Fauntleroy's been tremendous. This is a young player for Baylor. Her and Little Paige Buggs, both sophomores in their second year with the Bears, but Fauntleroy is showing up big today.
Pierre tried to tap it to Cambridge and instead turns it over. And that was the big problem in the first half for Vanderbilt. All those turnovers. 15 of them. Walker, great pass. Blackwell to finish.
That's two exceptional passes back-to-back from Jada Walker.
Blackwell has benefited from both of them. And it's an 11-point Baylor lead here. 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. Great pass by Washington. Shot clock down to 5. Passat. Big time bucket. Justine Passat off the dribble.
Much needed for Vandy. And I know Shea Ralph is really excited about Justine Passat, former McDonald's All-American, transfer from Tennessee. She has such good size on the wing position and can really get her shot off whenever she wants because of her length.
Little Paige Buggs too strong. Vanderbilt, when they were at their best in the second quarter, was their defense stringing together stops, and then their offense getting out the other way. Exactly what happens there, Sasha Washington.
And Vandy is just better when Sasha Washington is on the floor, but Sarah Andrews, cold-blooded, big-time three from the senior.
Restores a 10-point lead for Baylor. Back inside, Washington really started to get going. Back-to-back baskets for the junior. Walker trying to answer. It'll stay Baylor's ball.
Checking for Vanderbilt number 11, Jordan Oliver. And for Baylor number 4, Jenna Van Guttenby.
Little Paige Buggs knocks it down.
You give her that jumper, she is going to take it. 9 points for the sophomore. The two sophomores, like I mentioned earlier, Fauntleroy and Little Paige Buggs, are balling out for the Bears.
Both of these teams shooting exceptionally well in this first round matchup. Oliver misses that one, but cleans up her own miss. Vanderbilt shooting 54% from the floor as Passat smartly throws the ball off the leg of Van Guytenby to keep possession for Vanderbilt. And then Baylor shooting 48%. So both of these teams just doing a great job, especially when you consider the tight defense being played.
The big difference is Baylor's struggles from beyond the arc. And you said this earlier, Jay, when they attack the rim, they've been great besides the turnovers, but they still have not been able to capitalize on the three ball. And then Sarah Andrews making her presence felt. Missed a good bit of that second quarter, but she's back here in the third.
Baylor 16 points off turnovers today.
This has been the issue for Vanderbilt this evening, the turnovers, and then Baylor making them pay. A great finish by Sarah Andrews with the left hand, and you can just tell the difference when Andrews wasn't on the floor for the Bears and when she is.
Baylor foul number 44,
How about this for Vanderbilt? You mentioned the Commodores' three-point struggles tonight. They are 1 of 9 from 3, 14 of 19 from 2.
That's what Baylor wants. Baylor wants to run them off the three-point line. They want them to take really tough contested threes. Baylor is without a doubt winning that three-point battle. And so far it's given them a 11-point lead.
It's been a long day.
It has been.
And we've been going since Wednesday. And so has Vanderbilt.
That's right.
Won their way into the first round after a first 4 win against Columbia. That falls off the rim, no good from Cambridge. Virginia Tech awaiting the winner of this one comfortably in the second round. Fauntleroy continues to feast. The sophomore with a star-studded performance here in the NCAA tournament.
And Jana Van Guytenbeek can pass the ball. Number 4 for Baylor has been threading the needle on multiple occasions today. That was a great pass inside to Fauntleroy. Finding her teammate, and as you said, Fauntleroy feasting inside for the Bears.
And it's Bella Fauntleroy, the sophomore from Springfield, Missouri, at the line. She has been outstanding. Leads the Bears with 16 points. And this is a balanced scoring Baylor team. Well, she has emerged from the pack.
That's what makes Baylor so dangerous, especially in March. You really don't know who's going to beat you on a given night. And tonight, it's Fauntleroy's night.
Falls off the rim, no good. Pierre gets her own rebound, goes back up with it, too strong.
Missed layups. When you're trying to claw back in, you've got to make those layups if you're Vanderbilt.
Stolen away. Jordan Oliver, the former Baylor Bear, playing her former team. Her college career started in Waco, then transferred to Duke, and now her third stop here at Vanderbilt. She'll be at the line shooting 2 when we come back. Doors down 14 for Baylor. And if you have not seen an NCAA tournament game here in Castle Coliseum with Virginia Tech is playing, it is one of the best atmospheres in all of college basketball. I am already looking forward to Sunday.
It will be electric no matter which one of these teams advances. It's going to be a tough road environment for them. I know not technically a home game because it's an NCAA tournament game, but there will be a lot of Virginia Tech fans. And it just shows how important the regular season is in women's hoops. Baylor, with such a good resume, had multiple chances. Maybe if 1 or 2 games goes differently, then they are a 4 seed, maybe if they advance further in the Big 12 tournament. And that would make a big difference if we were playing this pod in Waco rather than Blacksburg.
Fauntleroy has led the way. Gives it back to Sarah Andrews. Andrews in attack mode. Down the lane, and she's fouled.
Sarah Andrews is so good at getting downhill. And by that I mean when she's able to kind of lower her shoulder, get to the rim. She can get to the rim on almost anybody, and she's very low to the ground. So she's hard to stay in front of, protects the ball, protects her ball handle. Just a great job by Sarah Andrews.
Every single NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. It has been wall-to-wall basketball today. That continues tomorrow right here on ESPN's family of networks. And over on ABC, UConn at 1 and Iowa at 3.
When Asia Blackwell is in the game, it feels like she's always getting her hand on the basketball defensively, always making something happen.
Walker heaves it out of the double team. Great ball movement. Blackwell can't finish it. Gets her offensive rebound. Good look by Little Paige Buggs. Just no finish there for Baylor. Got a couple of really good looks on it. dispossessed. This Baylor defense has come to play.
And who was that? Asia Blackwell. Getting her hand in there, making a play, getting a steal. So active defensively.
18 Vanderbilt turnovers, 11 of those counted as Baylor steals.
Ooh.
Walker, the spin cycle. Jada Walker, the Virginia native, so crafty.
Tough move inside by Jada Walker. I think she likes playing back here in her home state. And she gets the steal.
Walker doing it all. Both ends of the floor. This Baylor team just seems so connected.
Jada Walker, spin cycle, finish with the left hand. And the Baylor bench, ooh, look at Felder, just spinning. My teammate spins, I'm gonna spin.
Fauntleroy, and it goes down again. Bella Fauntleroy on fire. Her fourth made three, and she's got 19 points.
You can't leave her in the corner. Vanderbilt helped off of her onto Little Paige Buggs. I would rather, you got to stay on Fauntleroy, especially the way she's shooting the ball today, but she is a 37% three-point shooter on the season.
And after that made three, Baylor on a 12-2 run. And now this is their largest lead of the night. They had gone up by 16 in the first half. More. Boy, did Vandy need that three.
Badly, and that was the exact same spot that she hit that dagger against Columbia.
Blackwell fouled by Washington.
Vanderbilt's hanging around, but this is where, because you played that first game, this is where that fatigue can really set in. Do you have another run in you if you're Vanderbilt? And it's going to be tough to make that run with Sasha Washington on the bench. She hasn't had as great of an offensive output as she did against Columbia, but they need her out there, and that's 4 fouls.
Well, a tall task gets even steeper for Vanderbilt. Baylor goes full court pressure.
I love this move by Baylor. You want to send that message that you are not letting your foot off the gas. You want to continue to be aggressive and apply pressure.
Tapped out of bounds. Shot clock at 11 for Vandy.
And it's tough when you have this kind of deficit, Jay. Feels like the three ball has got to be a part of your comeback effort, right? But Vanderbilt's still just 2 for 11 from beyond the arc.
And Moore has hit both of them. Has it here, goes inside, falls off the rim, gets her own miss. And Blackwell and Oliver were the two tangled up. It's Oliver who stays down.
Pretty physical inside as these two. It just looked like Blackwell slipped, and they're wiping up that mark there in the paint, but Blackwell slipped and then she took everyone else down with her. I don't think there's anything here at all. I think she just slipped and then everyone tumbled.
So you saw the reaction from Blackwell. That's because Oliver ends up on top of her. But I think that's incidental contact.
They're looking for an unobserved foul, is what the official is telling me, but
I think this should just be a play on.
Yes, I agree. What they're looking for is looking for an unobserved, possible intentional contact, disqualifying, that kind of thing. But to me, this is just a domino effect. Blackwell slips, Blackwell falls, Oliver falls. We play on. I don't.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens. And now I appreciate the staff here really wiping up that spot, because it is true. Slipping on a wet spot can be hazardous. We know that, but I just don't see much in this situation.
No call on an unobserved foul. We will resume play with Vanderbilt underneath 18 seconds to go.
So it'll stay Vanderbilt ball. You just heard from the officiating crew that this is a play on.
Well, that replay gave the crew a little more time to mop up the area. So that's good, Jen.
Exactly.
We love to see that.
Everybody's been working hard here in Blacksburg.
There's our guy, our hero. He was mopping.
I want one of those polos.
Yeah, those are nice.
Pierre in attack mode, the drive. And a blocking foul is the call. So Pierre back to the line for 2, where she is 1 for 4 today.
The free throw line, even though Vandy's done a good job of getting to the line, it's hurt them a little bit. They've missed 7 free throws today. Just a 72% free throw shooting team on the season. And in that win over Columbia on Wednesday, they played great, but they still missed 7 free throws in that game too.
Also checking in number 4, Jenna.
I know free throws matter all season long, but feels like they matter more in March.
They do, without a doubt, because the margins for error are smaller, and you play in a lot of close games in March, and you've got to knock down those free throws.
15-point Baylor lead, a minute left of this third quarter. Virginia Tech awaiting the winner of this one in the second round. Van Geitenbeek, nothing but the bottom of the net. Jana Van Geitenbeek.
She has given Baylor some really good minutes today, and that play was made possible by Little Paige Buggs. She met the pass so the ball wasn't turned over, and then kicked it out to find her teammate for 3.
Vanderbilt in the danger zone. Ayanna Moore, 5 seconds to shoot. Calls her own number. Missed it.
Ooh, tough foul to pick up at the very end of the quarter.
That's the 3rd against Moore.
I would take her out right now if I'm Coach Ralph, just to make sure she doesn't pick up that 4th on this possession.
Here's Jada Walker, the Virginia native. Dumps it off for an easy 2 to finish the third quarter. And Baylor is rolling. The Bears a 20-point lead after 3 quarters played.
I mean, the list goes on and on for Brittany Griner's impact at Baylor. So I thought that was really cool to see her jersey retired. Did graduate from Baylor in 2019, went back to get her degree and finished that. And then I love the story that the coaching staff was telling us when BG came back to get her jersey retired, that she practiced with the team. What a cool experience for these Baylor players to get to practice against one of the best players in the world.
And was giving them a lot of advice throughout the day. And, you know, that's so valuable for a lot of these Baylor players that eventually want to end up in the W one day. Big block. Little Paige Buggs has been everywhere. This Baylor defense has been swarming and suffocating since tip-off.
It really has, and I've loved how Little Paige Buggs has played. She's affected the game on both ends of the floor, passed it really well, and then defensively she's been great.
Corner three, no good. And Little Paige Buggs called for a reach in there on the rebound.
Baylor foul number 5 on Little Paige Buggs.
Now the task is simple for Baylor. Protect this 20-point lead over the next 9 minutes, and you are moving on to the round of 32 to take on Virginia Tech. Felder picks up the foul. One thing you don't want to do to Baylor is let the fouls pile up in the fourth quarter, because once there's 5, Vanderbilt will shoot the rest of the way.
Exactly right, and that's a way you can let a team back in a game. Vanderbilt down by 20, they're either going to have to get it done at the free throw line or start making some threes, and if they start doing both, that could be a problem.
Now they have struggled from 3, just 2 of 13. Ayanna Moore has both of the makes. Cambridge has been a quiet day for her. Gets that to go. Felder, she draws the foul, goes hard to the floor.
Vanderbilt foul on 24, Argo Markoroff, and his personal foul. First team foul quarter.
She went down hard. I think it's more just trying to catch her breath more than anything.
Now she plays with an extremely high motor. The transfer from Ohio, I can't imagine that adjustment going from the MAC to the Big 12. And yet she's made it seamlessly.
And I like how she's accepted her role, and she is a younger player. She has more years left at Baylor, but you go from playing at Ohio where you're scoring over 20 a game, you're getting all the shots, and then now you're at Baylor, you're coming off the bench, but it's worth it because you get to play in the NCAA tournament. You get to be on a team that's one of the better teams in the country, and then next year perhaps earning more minutes, getting a starting role. But that's what players want. I think after a while it gets old scoring 20 a game when you're not winning and not doing it on the biggest stage.
Feels like this is now or never time for Vandy. And another 3 way off the mark. 2 of 14 from deep. Andrews somehow slices through, feeds Felder, who misses the 3. Dump down low. Oliver finishes at the rim. Commodores need to start stringing together some stops. A tall task left in this fourth quarter. Andrews buries it. Sarah Andrews.
We had a dagger in the Columbia-Vanderbilt game. I know there's still a lot of time left, but that 3 feels like a dagger because anytime Vanderbilt grabs some momentum, Baylor comes back and they make plays. What a shot by Sarah Andrews. Baylor leads comfortably. 21 points off of turnovers. Massive difference maker for the Bears.
That defensive intensity was right off the tip. Vanderbilt was caught off guard, I think, by just the pressure because they had those 13 turnovers early. And Baylor continues to run the floor. Transition, defense to offense has been on point.
That was a heck of a catch by Dreonna Edwards. And Baylor hasn't even used her that much tonight. It just shows the depth Baylor has. If she hasn't played that much, maybe will be a little fresher for the game against Virginia Tech if Baylor is to advance, Joe, of course.
Well, it's certainly looking that way.
It's looking that way.
As far as round 1 goes, we had 2 of the more lopsided matchups, and it's a testament to how well Baylor and Virginia Tech have played.
What a catch, right? Dreonna Edwards. Maybe Baylor football needs a tight end because that was a heck of a catch.
Haul it in.
It's so hard to catch in transition, have the presence of mind where you are around the rim, get your feet and your footwork lined up to get your 2 steps. It's a lot more difficult, I would say, than it looks at home, Jay.
She made it look easy.
She did. That's so true. She did.
Felder lines up the 3. Too much on it. Offensive rebound. Andrews. Clean sweep right to the rim for 2. And it's a 25-point Baylor lead. The Bears are leaving no doubt. 3-on-2. Foul called on Andrews.
Baylor foul number 24, Sarah Andrews for a personal foul, third team foul. Checking in number 1, Renee Fritz.
And as you've said throughout our afternoon here in Castle, Jay, there's so much else going on in the basketball world, so many games being played. Top of your screen, Iowa State down big to Maryland. That's an Iowa State team that beat Baylor in the Big 12 conference tournament. And I watched a good bit of that game prepping for today, but I'm not sure how, because this Baylor team, they look like they've switched into March gear a little bit, and they look determined today from the jump against Vanderbilt.
Yeah, program that's making their 20th straight March Madness appearance. This is just what they do. But this program is built on playing their best basketball this time of year. Coming up, when we're done here in Blacksburg on ESPNU, Eastern Washington against the 3-seed Oregon State. How about the Pac-12? A lot of top seeds this year.
Pac-12 was really good, especially at the top. So many teams that could compete for a Final Four bid. Of course, in this regional, where we are, Regional 3 in Portland, Southern Cal is the 1 seed. And the most likely, if Southern Cal advances, if we have chalk, the winner of, again, most likely, Baylor, Virginia Tech, could end up seeing Southern Cal at some point with star freshman Juju Watkins.
Does it feel like Regional 3 in Portland is the most wide open of the 4?
I think Regional 4 is the most wide open, with Texas as the 1, Stanford as the 2, NC State as the 3. That one feels pretty wide open. In this regional, to me, it's going to be probably one of those top 2 or 3 seeds that ends up in the Final Four, just because with Liz Kitley's injury. But the way this Baylor team's playing, they could shake things up a bit. I just love their depth and how they're scoring the basketball tonight.
Felder has been very aggressive in this 4th quarter. That time probably forced it. And again, with an 18-point lead, you're just looking to kill clock, not turn it over, play good defense like they've done all night.
And most of the starters on the bench for Baylor, just Fauntleroy left in the game, who's had a tremendous night. She's just 2 points off of her career high.
Vanderbilt, no good on the 3 from Cambridge. They were on a 7-0 run. If that went, you'd have some belief here in the final 4 minutes. Beautiful off the window. Van Geitenbeek.
What a play. That ball, when it went through the net, it didn't touch the net. The net did not move. That was an incredible play by Van Geitenbeek to keep her dribble, use her body, and then finish with the left.
I like to say nothing but the bottom of the net.
That's
just nothing.
That was crazy. And what a luxury for Baylor to have so many lead guards that can handle the ball. Walker, Sarah Andrews, and then Van Geitenbeek, who's given them some great minutes this evening.
Second team foul. Checking in for Baylor, number 11. Jada Walker, number 33, is a Buckwell. And checking in for Vanderbilt, number 21, Bella Ratans.
give a lot of credit to Vanderbilt. Their defensive intensity has not slowed down one bit. Just didn't make enough shots. 3 of 17 from 3 really hurt this team. They missed 7 foul shots as well.
And the turnovers. The turnovers were an issue for Vanderbilt today. It's tough when Baylor applies all that pressure, the ball pressure, getting in passing lanes. It's just been tough for Vanderbilt to feel comfortable in this game.
You know, in the first 4 victory against Columbia, it was Vanderbilt that turned Columbia over that won them that game. That was the difference in that game Wednesday night. Now it's Vanderbilt on the other side of that when you're the team turning it over. Lane violation, gives the ball to Baylor. Cambridge, you know, the 6th-year senior rips it away. Still battling. We told you her story earlier. This game has overcome 2 torn ACLs, a torn Achilles. This is her final, likely her final game. And for the Nashville native to represent Vanderbilt, 3-time All-SEC defensive team, program's all-time leader in steals, and she is leaving it all out on the court.
15 fouls at line number 23, Ayana Moore, shooting 2.
Such a
Let that affect her too much. Impressive performance, and you can just tell she's a veteran. She plays like a vet. She plays like a player who's been here before, who's played in quite a few NCAA tournament games, and that kind of experience is invaluable.
Asia Blackwell dispossessed. Washington playing aggressively with 4 fouls, and that time it pays off. Good pass by Moore. Washington, no finish. That's been the kind of night it's been for Vanderbilt. As a foul's called. There was 9 missed free throws, 3 of 17 from 3, the 21 turnovers. That's just not a recipe to win in March. You just get the feeling that the inevitable is here for Baylor. 2:27 away from officially securing their spot in the second round with Virginia Tech.
Code foul is under review.
On Sunday.
I'm excited. I wish we were playing this game tomorrow so I don't have to wait as long for Baylor Virginia Tech, but I think that's going to end up being one of the better games of the second round in this NCAA tournament. I mentioned earlier the guard matchup, Georgia Amore, Sarah Andrews, the way those two can get to the rim and get downhill, the speed and quickness and how they shoot the ball. And then the big question is, you have Baylor's proven depth versus Virginia Tech's young depth. And that young depth played really well today, but they did that against a Marshall team, and Baylor presents a much bigger challenge than Marshall. So can a Clara Strack, can Carrie Baker, can these young players, Matilda Eck, who's not a freshman but younger, can they play like they did today?
35. We're resuming play with Vandy free throws at 35.
So it's going to be Vanderbilt at the line. Call on the floor stance.
They were reviewing to see if they were going to upgrade it, but that is, to me, the question with Virginia Tech Baylor. Is I feel like I know what I'm going to get from Baylor's depth. And Virginia Tech, as well as they played today, can they perform like that against Baylor? That's going to be the question.
I don't think you could have played much better than they did today, scoring 92 points. Georgia Amore only had 9 of them. And a team that had a lot of question marks coming into this tournament with the loss of Liz Kitley. They answered all the questions and then some.
And then you have the crowd factor as well, which we've alluded to on this broadcast. This place will be packed on Sunday with fans in maroon and orange. Not a lot of fans in green and gold. So how will that affect Baylor? And can they overcome it? I think that's going to be a big question.
Vanderbilt foul, number 35, Sasha Washington.
And Sasha Washington is fouled out of this game. Gets a big hug from her head coach, Shea Ralph. Now, the one thing you could say about Vanderbilt, this was their first bid in 10 seasons. The media picked the Commodores dead last in the SEC preseason, and yet this team improved their win total by 11 games. An incredible coaching job by Shea Ralph.
And the future's bright for Vanderbilt. You bring back Ayanna Moore, who's an all-SEC performer. You bring back Sasha Washington. You will, of course, lose Jordan Cambridge, but Camille Pierre, a super exciting young player. Justine Pissat, also a young player. This core for Vanderbilt can be really special and continue to compete for the NCAA tournament every year.
Moore and Cambridge still on the floor for Vanderbilt. You know, such a catalyst in the turnaround this year. We mentioned that a year ago they were both out injured with season-ending injuries. And they rehabbed together. They dreamed of making it to the NCAA tournament. And here they are. They got a win on Wednesday night in the first four. And even though this game didn't go their way, again, a lot to be proud of. And like you said, Callie, this is just the beginning for Vanderbilt basketball. Whereas Baylor now turns their attention to Virginia Tech. This was a Bears team that came out, grabbed a 16-point lead in the first quarter. Just, you could tell they were ready to play.
They were.
And that separation made it just too steep of a hill to climb for Vanderbilt. Both of our games today was just a team that came out, grabbed that early lead, and took it the whole way.
Another way to say, Jay, that we have had two somewhat blowouts today.
Lopsided.
Lopsided. This wasn't really a blowout, not compared to Virginia Tech Marshall, of course. But I do think Baylor, Virginia Tech, that's going to be a tight one. That could be a game that comes down to the wire, which Vanderbilt Columbia was in our first four game at this site.
Yeah, there's a good game going on ESPN News right now. Colorado, just a 4-point lead against Drake. And then next on ESPNU, Oregon State, the 3-seeded Beavers, taking on Eastern Washington.
Oregon State is a really good team, and I think they're a little underseeded just because Reagan Beers was hurt for a good portion of February when they lost some games, and she is the big center inside for Oregon State. Scott Ruick has built a great program in Corvallis, so keep an eye on the Beavers. I think the Beavers could make a little noise in this NCAA tournament.
It's been Baylor making noise today. 80 points in this first round matchup against a very good Vanderbilt defense. Little bit of a heat check for Fauntleroy, who led the Bears today in scoring with 19. Nikki Collin.
Coach, you got a lot to be happy about.
Yep.
It's okay. And Fauntleroy, what a game for her.
Yeah, you can live with one of those when You score 19, too shy of a career high.
When your fourth leading scorer gives you 19 and 11,
it's pretty good.
You'll take it.
So Baylor left no doubt the Bears on to the round of 32, setting up a terrific matchup between Baylor and Virginia Tech for a spot in the Sweet 16.
What a performance by Baylor. Their depth really showed out. We are excited to be back in Castle for the Baylor-Virginia Tech matchup on Sunday.